Morning all, my name's Martin Jordan. As I mentioned, I'm from Equator. We are one of Scotland's biggest digital agencies, responsible for website development, design, all that sort of thing. My team, I look after the marketing department. We're responsible for search engine optimization, paid search, affiliate marketing, media, email, all that sort of stuff. Generally speaking, we don't touch paper. That's our raison d'etre. We touch anything internet related. That's the sales pitch over with, but if you want to come and chat to me about any of those things, please do so after the chat. Today I'm talking to you about top 10 search engine optimization mistakes. Sounds a little geeky, and it kind of is, but I want to try and get over the geekiness to kind of make a point. What people do with their websites has evolved. People are more and more trying to make money at the websites, trying to make a presence on the internet. And that's perfect. But if you can't be found on Google and Yahoo and MSN, then kind of what's the point? People spend an absolute fortune on websites, 20, 30, 40, 140, £250,000, lots and lots of money on websites, but then don't make them being able to be found. And there are certain basic principles that you can follow to make sure that at least you're going to get yourself on the road to success and make yourself be found in Google. And it doesn't have to be geeky, it doesn't have to be something you need to run away from, because in real terms, the things I'm going to talk about today are things that people are still doing, but you can get through quickly, and by doing these simple things, you're going to save yourself a small fortune. Now, you might sit and think, well, why you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, you're going to take business away from yourselves, because we do search engine optimization, and to a little extent that is true, but in real terms, we get over these points in a very short space of time when we take on new clients, and it would be nice to bring clients in who are already switched on, because again, if you start to understand the basic principles, you're going to get yourself on to a better start. So let's get stuck in. If this gets a little geeky, I'll try and keep it as plain and simple as possible, but if you want to come and talk to me about any of the 10 points I'm talking about, please do so afterwards, and I've got some examples on the computer I can go through with you. First off, really simple thing, duplicate content. Seems quite simple that if you have two web pages or two websites exactly the same, because you own a .com address. We owned Equator.com, but we also had a website, Equator.co.uk, and we put the website in both of those addresses just because we own the domains and we want to protect our brand. But actually, from Google's perspective, if it sees two websites that are exactly the same, Google's trying to read and understand the website and trying to make an opinion as to which is the one that matters. If it sees two exactly the same, it can't make a decision. It can't say, that's the website about Equator, not that one. And when Google can't make a decision, it chooses not to make a decision. So what it does is it bumps both of those websites down the rankings, because it says, well, I can't make a value choice. It doesn't ask a human to do it. Google's main principle is don't involve a human. If you can, write a program for it. So simple things like having multiple copies of your own website on different places, or because you own different domains, or even the same pages on different parts of your website. Remember, in Google's eyes, it's not your homepage that's the homepage. It's every page's homepage, and it wants to understand every aspect of your site. So consider making sure that even if you're writing about similar topics and two different pages, keep the content different. But then also ask yourself, why am I writing similar content in two different parts of my website? Surely just link to the other point, because at the end of the day, if you've written it, the point of websites is to link around rather than to just say, oh, I need to say it there and I need to say it there. Well, you're repeating yourself, and the customer is going to come around your website and say, I've read this already. So it's a really great principle for the customers as well. Secondly, Flash. Flash is lovely, Flash is beautiful, creates lovely scrolling animations, nice things going on. It really brings your brand to life, especially when you're trying to create a brand presence. Fabulous. And there's some really cool, really exciting Flash websites out there. They tend to be owned, the big ones tend to be owned by really big brands, Nike, Adidas, all these sort of people like to make an impression. Fabulous. Google can't read a word of it. The problem with Flash websites is if you rely wholly on Flash, there's nothing for Google or any of the search engines to get a grip on. As much as you're bringing a brand experience to life, and Flash is not a cheap business. If you want a flashy website, it comes at a cost. If Google can't read a word of it, it's not going to be able to be found for that. So, and if you're not a big brand owner that you can sit and rely and go, well, I'm Nike, I've got brand presence, it's fine, then you're never going to be found. So use Flash with care. Use it to bring your brand to life, but as part of a wider website with text and images and links and all that kind of sensible stuff, because you can still bring your brand message without necessarily getting lost in pretty pictures. Really important. Don't get me wrong, Google's getting better at starting to understand Flash, but really, it's not very friendly. And think about it, iPhones can't use Flash. HTCs, all the little smartphones come out, only starting to use it, and it really just eats up the bandwidth. So again, think about mobile. Gets a little more techy now. Title tags. The very first thing on the page, the thing right at the top of the bar. So many people just forget about that because it's in the corner, it's lost. It's actually the first thing that Google reads. It's what Google thinks is this page is going to be talking about. And if yours still says untitled document, or it just has your brand name and nothing else, how is it going to distinguish what that page is about? That's the first and most important thing it says. What if every title tag on every page in your homepage, every page on your site is the same? Again, it's going to start there sitting and go, well, what's this page about? It's about my brand again. It's about Equator. It's about Equator. Every page is about Equator, but not about what we do, or how to contact us, or our clients, or our services. You're not telling Google anything if you just sit there. Think about that as the title of your page, the title of your book, and everything from that point onwards is important. It's really important. And also from the user's perspective, when they if they can find your page on Google, it's the bit that comes up in blue on the page. Really simple, but so many people completely forget about this because it's later, we'll deal with it, it's something down the line, but it's massively important. In the same breath, a little more techy again, but again, so easy to fix, and so much basic principles. Hopeless URLs. So many big organizations that you see in Glasgow with their online presence have URLs that make no sense. They've got their bit at the start, mybrand.co.uk, and then slash blah, 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 blah. Absolute nonsense. If you're selling something, if you're selling a polo shirt, for example, a white men's polo shirt, it's an example I have on my screen if you want to see later on, you want to have mybrand.co.uk slash menswear slash polo shirts slash white polo shirt.html. That says to me, you and everyone, and Google, that's the hierarchy I built. Don't just go with a product SKU or something like that and some other blah, 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 because Google can't make any sense of it, you can't make any sense of it, nobody's going to be able to bookmark it, or equally know that they can browse the website using URLs. So again, it's a really simple thing to do, and so many people just miss out. They just go, oh, we'll just put it up in the way that the software defaults. So many bits of web software will just default in a way that makes no sense to any user. And again, it's so simple to do. Why not start with the top end of the website? And it also means for future proofing, you've built yourself a folder hierarchy you can rely on, and it makes organizing and growing your website so much easier rather than just creating random pockets of data. Again, think about your website beyond the homepage. The next big thing that people forget is Google navigates your website just like a human being would. It comes in, looks at the website, reads the content, tries to follow the links. Because it needs to try and get beyond the homepage. It's going to come in via your homepage more than likely, but then it's going to try and explore further down. What if your navigation isn't search friendly? What if it can't read it? What if you've stored it in some sort of off-site file, it's some sort of fancy bit of Java, or worse still, it's Flash? What's Google going to do to get further into your site and explore the 20, 50, 100 pages you've toiled over, written content for, got images for, and it can't get anywhere? And there's no links into the website to tell it there's stuff underneath. If your navigation isn't search friendly, if Google can't read it and then click the link effectively, how's it ever going to get any further forward? You've spent all that time and effort and it can't see it. The more Google can explore down your site and across your site, thinking about linking into pages from other pages, the more it learns about your site, the more it understands about the interaction between all the bits of content. If it can't follow that down, if it can't start to see the relationship with content, it won't really understand your site. And you have to remember, the thing to constantly remember is Google and the other search engines are just bits of software. You have to teach them. You have to teach them what they want to know, because otherwise they'll just, in all honesty, they'll get bored and they'll leave. And they'll not spider your site, they'll not come by so often, they'll not be so interested in your site. And the deep stuff in your pages, even the stuff that you've spent hours on, will never get found. Really simple to do. Check your site, check your navigation. Can Google follow it?